Hi, friends. 'Tis a season of so much sickness, and many of you are dealing with very immediate needs with being sick, and some of you are dealing with very prolonged hanging on coughs and colds and recovering from flus and walking pneumonia, all sorts of sickness going around right now, no matter what age you are. One of the biggest things that I have found helpful, both in my own family and also in the lives of my clients, is some type of broth. Now, bone broth, I love. If you're vegetarian, you might need to get a little bit creative in doing more of a vegetarian broth, still super valuable. But today I want to talk about bone broth specifically. Often, what I will do all throughout the year is I will intentionally buy a whole chicken or a whole turkey. I will cook it down. I will use that meat for that meal, but I will immediately take all of the bones, guts, leftover skin, whatever it might be, and I will put that back either into a crock pot or an instant pot. You could also do just a stock pot on the stove. Fill it with water. If I have other scraps of onions, celery, carrots, sometimes I toss that in, sometimes I don't. Um, there are some people that also end up adding sometimes things like apple cider vinegar or regular vinegar. Sometimes people will add herbs and spices. For me, I keep it really simple. It's just the bones and skin and cartilage. It's going in, cover it with water, and then if you're using an Instapot, they have a setting to do broth. If you're using a crock pot, just set it, set it, and leave it. Let it come to a boil for several hours. Um, you can look up a really easy recipe anywhere online. Once you have let it simmer for a while, then you are simply going to strain that broth and remove the solids. And then you're going to store it in the refrigerator, or I often will put mine in the freezer. I will often keep it in smaller containers or jars so that when I have someone who I'm taking care of, I can pull it out and I don't feel like it's getting wasted. I have sometimes I do a large batch and I'll use that in making an actual soup, but I do often keep smaller batches frozen or in the refrigerator for those that are just needing a warm cup of broth. And I call it the elixir of life. Truly, I have seen it work miracles. Some of the benefits of it are include number one, it's a hydration pro. It's packed with fluids, but also electrolytes, which are huge in recovery. Oftentimes, people think of electrolyte replacement in sport, but they forget that when you have been ill, if you have been sweating with fevers, if you have been dispelling mucus, if you have been vomiting, diarrhea, you are losing a lot of electrolytes. And so, electrolyte replacement is huge in helping you gain back the strength and energy that feels so much amiss. Okay, so it's a huge hydration hero. It's gentle on the stomach. It's often easy to digest when people do not have very much of an appetite. It's a huge nutrient boost, right? It's got lots of minerals and great things in it, as well as collagen, which is super helpful for your immune health. It's comfortable, it's warm, it's usually soothing to sore throats, or has that little bit of a steam effect when people are stuffed up. One thing, sometimes people will add things like garlic or ginger or turmeric that can often bring an extra immune boosting kick to it. So it can look very plain and very simple. I keep mine pretty plain and simple because when my people are sick, they don't want extra spice, but some people really enjoy that. So I encourage you in your cooking over the next few days, see if you can cook up a whole chicken, whole turkey. You can do it with beef, something with a beef bone to it. I find chicken and turkey often a little bit easier on the stomach when people are sick, so I tend to go towards those. But see if you can cook one up and then make up some specific bone broth from the remainder of that meal. And it is a really smart tool to have in your back pocket when your people are sick. So that's my pro tip for the day. Okay, 'tis the season of sickness. Make some bone broth, put it in your fridge, put it in your freezer, and then warm it up and use it both in when people are immediately sick, but then also when it's lingering. That is a really smart way to bring back some some life to those that have been suffering.